We'd love to believe we'd spot the monster, that we'd run, not get pulled in. But the truth is, sometimes people don't run from monsters, they fall in love with them. In You Season 5, Joe Goldberg meets Bronte, a girl who seems like she was made for him. Smart, a book lover, and a little broken. But Bronte isn't just another lost soul looking for love. She's running her own game. She's here to take Joe down for the murder of her old friend. And for a while, it seems like she might actually pull it off. Except, somewhere along the way, the story shifts. If you've ever heard about the Manson girls, or the women who write love letters to serial killers, you know this isn't a new story. But before we get into Bronte, Joe, and why some people get dangerously close to loving monsters, and of course this is if you want to do it, and if you don't want to do it, don't. But if you enjoy this type of content, theories, breakdowns, deep dives, and just overthinking TV shows and movies, I would greatly appreciate the support. If you could like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, it would mean a lot. You know the spiel, but it really does help the channel grow. Now with that being said, let's get into how Bronte almost became part of Joe's mythology, another victim of the Manson Girl Effect, and why, in the end, she didn't.
Okay. I see you.
Bronte, or rather Louise Flannery, enters Joe's life at Mooney's bookstore. She first appears as a broke, aspiring playwright, caught trying to steal a book to pay off debt and fund her work. Joe, dissatisfied with his life among the ultra-rich with Kate Lockwood, is immediately drawn to her, and he quickly offers her a job helping to reopen the bookstore. They bond over books, writing, and a shared sense of outsider status. What Joe doesn't realize is that Bronte isn't who she says she is.
They say you moved to New York to catfish Joe Goldberg. That true?
Yes.
Her real name is Louise Flannery, and she has ties to his past. Years earlier, Louise had been a student in the writing class where Guinevere Beck worked as a teaching assistant. Beck had mentored Louise, encouraging her writing and introducing her to Jane Eyre, a novel Louise deeply connected with. When Beck died, Louise noticed inconsistencies in her posthumously published novel and began to suspect foul play.
Felt like maybe Beck didn't write all of it herself, like maybe someone else finished it?
She joined an online group investigating Beck's death, teaming up with Dominique, Phoenix, and Clayton, the son of Dr. Nikki, the therapist Joe framed for Beck's murder. After Joe resurfaced in New York, the group decided to act. While her friends wanted to approach carefully, Louise went rogue, catfishing Joe under the name Bronte and inserting herself into his life. The plan worked. Joe fell for her, but something we didn't really see coming is that somewhere along the way, Louise started falling for him too.
Louise, he is an actual serial killer.
I mean, he offered me that apartment, didn't he?
She justified Joe's behavior, especially after he killed Clayton. She began to question whether Joe was really a killer, convincing herself he was protective, not dangerous.
What Joe did wasn't murder. It was self-defense.
Despite being handcuffed by Joe and surviving a kidnapping attempt, Louise only fell deeper under his spell, convincing herself that their bond was real.
And I see you, Joe Goldberg.
Now I see that every heartache, every mistake, every life I took was necessary.
Now, if we want to really understand Bronte, why she stayed, why she kept believing, and how close she came to being one of Joe's girls, we have to look at something that's still very real, even if it feels hard to believe. It's what's known as the Manson Girl Effect.
I guess so. I admired him, and I really became dependent on him and his moods of the day, and
Now, we've seen this before. Murderers become celebrities and women line up to love them. Ted Bundy's trial turned into a twisted fan convention.
What is unusual to see is that many of the onlookers are women, young women, contemporaries of the 5 Florida State sorority sisters who were assaulted in their beds a year and a half ago.
I'm not afraid of him. He just doesn't look like the type to kill somebody. You try to imagine yourself in his place and to see how he's feeling looking at the...
women mailed him nude pictures, dyed their hair to match his victims, and even proposed marriage. Richard Ramirez, aka the Night Stalker, had groupies crowding his court dates, calling him cute, and comparing him to Mick Jagger. Richard Ramirez even married one of them, Doreen Leoy, while sitting on death row.
And yet you look at him and you see the man of your dreams.
Yes.
Who needs glasses here?
I can't help the way the world looks at him. They don't know him the way I do.
It sounds unbelievable, but it's real, and it's called hybristophilia, sexual attraction to someone who's committed a violent crime. Now, FBI profiler Roy Hazelwood explained it like this: some women fall in love with these men, believing them to be misunderstood. Such people, in my opinion, generally have low self-esteem. By interacting with serial killers, they fulfill their own need for attention. Author Laura Elizabeth Woolard, while doing research for her book The Love of Bad Men, found and said, if there was one thing that was common to all these women, it was probably insecurity and a willingness to have their sense of self determined by the men they were involved with. And today, it's happening online. A recent study of TikTok content found a surge of users posting about their obsession with violent crimes. Researchers studying this phenomenon found 4 main types of content: sexualizing the criminal.
He was friendly and he was nice and he was so funny.
Downplaying or trivializing the crime, romanticizing them like tragic anti-heroes.
Oh, I think he liked me. Got that Aquafina, make them boys wanna wife me.
Or painfully admitting self-hatred over their own attraction. But let's not forget, please, that no matter how it gets packaged, the impact is the same. Victims get erased, the crimes get minimized, and predators get mythologized. Now, we really don't have to dig deep to find real-life examples. For instance, Ash Trevino gained massive online attention and plenty of backlash, but not enough after marrying a convicted murderer and turning their relationship into viral TikTok content.
But I was actually a prison wife. So yeah, that's why they call me the inmate hopper.
Serial killers have become pop culture icons because we frankly made them into that. And the Manson Girl Effect, the romanticizing of evil, is alive and thriving, and I believe, unfortunately, even more accessible today than it was in the 70s.
Today, Doreen walked down the aisle, albeit a prison aisle, with her groom. Here's the couple and her response at being the new Mrs. Richard Ramirez.
It feels wonderful. I'm so happy.
Going back to Bronte, and here's the thing about her. She came dangerously close to becoming one of those girls, but in the end, she didn't. And the reason why, well, that's where things get interesting. From the outside, it looked obvious. Bronte was Joe's newest perfect girl. Young, idealistic, broken in all the right places. Someone who seemed ready to believe whatever story he told her. It's why people started calling her another Manson girl. And for a while, Bronte walked that dangerous line. She didn't just fake a connection with Joe, she built a real one. She found comfort in him. She started explaining away the red flags. When Joe killed Clayton, instead of panicking, she framed it in her mind as protection. When her friends tried to warn her, she brushed them off.
If they had arrested the wrong guy for your aunt's murder, would you have been okay with that?
We don't have the wrong guy.
She wanted so badly to believe that Joe was different with her, that he could be saved, that love could fix it.
She fixed him.
I totally did fix you.
It's the same trap that's pulled in women for decades, believing that intimacy with the killer makes them special, untouchable, powerful by association. That's the heart of the Manson Girl Effect. It's not just about attraction, it's about identity, about reshaping the narrative to turn a murderer into a misunderstood lover. And Bronte was doing exactly that without even realizing it. But thank goodness, here's why Bronte didn't stay trapped. Someone told her the truth.
From where I'm standing, you've forgotten the reason you went after Joe in the first place. Your friend, Guinevere Beck. You really think he didn't kill her?
and she listened. Marion didn't come at her with another fantasy. She didn't offer pity, excuses, or even hope. She just gave Bronte the hard and brutal reality. Bronte didn't want to hear it. It shattered everything she'd built up in her head, but deep down, she knew it was true. And that's the difference between Bronte and the girls who got stuck.
But he's convinced you that you need him. You don't know whether you are Bronte or Louise.
So in the end, Bronte got closer than she should have. But when it mattered, she chose reality over fantasy.
The fantasy of a man like you is how we cope with the reality of a man like you.
To kind of summarize this, I also really liked Joe's final quote. Reading the letter from one of his fans, he thinks,
Maybe we have a problem as a society. Maybe we should fix what's broken in us. Maybe the problem isn't me. Maybe it's you.
Which, no, Joe is absolutely the problem, but he's not wrong that there's something broken too in the people who glorify him, in the women who chase after men like him, and the men who chase after women like him. That's real. But what do you think? What do you think about this phenomenon? Why are people still drawn to monsters like Joe? And what do you think is next for Bronte? I've seen a lot of mixed opinions about her. Did you like her? Dislike her, or something in between? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank everyone who took the time of day to watch or listen to this video. And now remember, the important thing is to always keep questioning. Even me. Till next time.